In a world where towering skyscrapers stretch towards the sky and technology links us in ways we never imagined possible, it's surprising to realize that some of the most developed countries are now facing serious struggles. These nations, once symbols of prosperity and stability, are encountering a multitude of challenges that threaten to diminish their positions as global leaders. From economic downturns to political turmoil, from demographic shifts to environmental disasters, the very factors that once made them icons of the modern world are now contributing to their decline. In many ways, it's like watching a superhero lose their powers, shocking, disorienting, and filled with uncertainty. Let's take a deeper look into the 10 fastest collapsing first world countries, those that have experienced significant declines in key areas that once defined their success. These nations are grappling with problems ranging from soaring national debts to political instability, shrinking workforces, and social upheaval. Even the wealthiest and most powerful countries are facing pressures that are testing their resilience and questioning their ability to maintain their status. As the global landscape shifts, the question arises: can these countries adapt to their challenges, or will they continue to decline? Number 10. South Korea. South Korea, a country renowned for its rapid economic growth and technological prowess, is encountering a host of issues that threaten its status as a first-world powerhouse. One of the most pressing concerns is its disastrously low fertility rate, which has been the lowest in the world since 2013. With a fertility rate of just 0.78% as of 2023, far below the replacement rate of 2.1, the country faces a future with fewer young people entering the workforce and a growing elderly population. This demographic shift is compounded by economic pressures such as high housing costs, an oversaturated job market, and changing societal expectations around marriage and family life. Young South Koreans are struggling to afford homes or even live independently, making it increasingly difficult to start families. Economically, the country is seeing worrying signs of decline. In 2024, South Korea's economy unexpectedly shrank, driven by weakening consumer spending, a sluggish export sector, and an aging population that puts greater strain on social services. Gender inequality also remains a significant hurdle, with rising anti-feminist sentiments and policies that threaten to undermine efforts toward a more equal society. Despite efforts to combat these issues through government-funded initiatives aimed at supporting new mothers, the fertility crisis persists, making South Korea's future uncertain. Number 9. Australia. Australia, known for its stunning landscapes and relaxed lifestyle, is also grappling with serious issues beneath the surface. One of the primary challenges is its environmental crisis, notably the increasingly frequent and devastating bushfires, exacerbated by climate change. These fires not only threaten the nation's biodiversity, but also have significant economic consequences, impacting agriculture, tourism, and public health. On top of environmental concerns, Australia faces economic instability. The housing market, while driving wealth for homeowners, has led to unaffordable housing prices, particularly for younger generations, which has increased financial inequality and stress. The country's reliance on natural resource exports like coal and iron ore leaves it vulnerable to global market fluctuations, and its economy is susceptible to shifts in international policies around carbon emissions. Socially, Australia is facing integration challenges as its increasingly multicultural society struggles to find cohesion. Issues such as racial discrimination and tensions between indigenous populations and newcomers persist. Furthermore, political polarization has deepened, with heated debates over climate policy, immigration, and economic reform. Australia's future prosperity is now uncertain as it faces environmental, economic, and social challenges that threaten its stability. Number 8. Canada. Canada, long admired for its natural beauty and multiculturalism, is experiencing a series of economic and social difficulties that have raised concerns about its future. A significant issue is the declining standard of living, with per capita GDP decreasing by 0.2% in the first quarter of 2024. This trend reflects broader issues such as weak business investment, declining oil revenues, and stagnating technological innovation. As a result, Canada's economy is growing at a slower pace than other G7 nations, and its dependency on oil, which has been losing value, is exacerbating the problem. Socially, Canada faces rising inequality and a declining sense of community. The erosion of neighbourhood cohesion, combined with housing affordability issues, has resulted in many Canadians becoming disconnected from their local environments. Furthermore, the education system is struggling with a lack of innovation and underfunding, leading to an erosion of skills that are critical for future economic growth. Canada's struggles with social cohesion and economic resilience pose significant risks to its long-term prosperity. Number 7. Japan. Japan, a country synonymous with cutting-edge technology and rich culture, faces its own set of pressing issues that threaten to destabilize its future. Perhaps the most alarming of these is Japan's demographic crisis. With one of the oldest populations in the world and a declining birth rate, Japan is experiencing a shrinking workforce, which threatens its economic vitality. Despite efforts to address this with policies aimed at increasing the birth rate and encouraging more women and elderly people to enter the workforce, results have been slow to materialize. Nassim Ruxlich. Japan's economy has been in stagnation for decades, with sluggish GDP growth and persistent deflationary pressures. The country also has one of the highest debt-to-GDP ratios in the world, which raises concerns about fiscal sustainability. Japan's reliance on exports also makes it vulnerable to global economic fluctuations, further complicating its ability to grow. On a social level, Japan is grappling with the challenges of caring for its aging population as demand for elder care services grows and the traditional family structure evolves. Japan's struggles with economic stagnation and demographic decline highlight the need for significant structural changes to secure a sustainable future. Number 6. Denmark. Denmark, a country often seen as a beacon of happiness and innovation, faces challenges that could undermine its future prosperity. The country's declining population is a significant concern. With a negative natural growth rate, Denmark's shrinking population puts pressure on its comprehensive social welfare system, which provides benefits to all citizens. The country also faces economic stagnation, with sluggish productivity growth and difficulties in scaling up small businesses and startups. Despite a high GDP per capita, Denmark's modest growth rates and reliance on a few key industries make it vulnerable to economic instability. Denmark's geopolitical history with Sweden and its multi-party political system present challenges in navigating the complex issues it faces. While Denmark is still recognized for its leadership in sustainable energy solutions, the concentration of innovation in a few large firms could limit growth and resilience in other sectors. As Denmark works to balance its prosperity with demographic and economic pressures, it remains to be seen how the country will adapt to these growing challenges. Number 5. Sweden. Sweden, like Denmark, has long been associated with a high standard of living, a robust welfare state, and a commitment to sustainability. However, the country faces several significant challenges that threaten its position as a global leader. A key issue is its aging population, which places tremendous pressure on Sweden's welfare system. With more retirees and fewer young workers, Sweden faces difficulties in sustaining social spending while maintaining economic growth. Sweden's economy is also vulnerable to global uncertainties, as its export-driven economy relies heavily on industries such as automotive manufacturing. While Sweden has made strides in sustainability and green technology, the global competition in these sectors, coupled with rising inequality and political polarization, is putting Sweden's future at risk. Moreover, issues surrounding immigration and integration continue to create divisions within the country, threatening to undermine its social cohesion. As Sweden navigates these challenges, it will need to adapt quickly to remain a leading nation in the future. Number 4, France. France, known for its rich cultural history and world-renowned cuisine, is currently facing a series of internal issues that threaten its stability. One of the most pressing concerns is the decline in educational standards, especially in subjects like mathematics and science. French students rank poorly in European tests, and there are concerns about the quality of education, which is critical for the nation's economic future. Despite efforts by President Macron to reform the education system, these problems persist, and the social consequences could be far-reaching. France's economy is also in trouble. Rising unemployment, inflation, and a sluggish economy have led to growing dissatisfaction with the government. The French welfare state, while comprehensive, is under pressure as poverty and social inequality continue to rise. Additionally, crime rates in urban areas are climbing, further undermining the quality of life for many citizens. France's once strong industrial sector is in decline, and political gridlock has made it difficult for the country to address these systemic issues. The future of France is uncertain as it struggles to balance social stability with economic reform. Number 3. Germany. Germany, the largest economy in Europe, is facing multiple challenges that are eroding its position as a first-world leader. The country's energy transition, aimed at phasing out coal and nuclear power, has placed considerable strain on its energy infrastructure. This transition has led to rising electricity prices and increased reliance on natural gas imports, leaving Germany vulnerable to geopolitical instability, particularly due to the war in Ukraine. Germany's economic growth has slowed significantly, and the country is slipping into recession. Along with demographic challenges such as an aging population and a declining birth rate, Germany's workforce is shrinking, which will further strain its social safety net. Rising inequality, political polarization, and tensions over migration and refugee integration have also created deep divides in German society. These internal challenges, combined with global economic pressures, threaten to undermine Germany's future prosperity. Number 2. The United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, once the heart of a vast empire, is now grappling with a series of crises that threaten its position on the global stage. The aftermath of Brexit has been one of the most significant factors contributing to the UK's decline. The decision to leave the European Union has led to economic uncertainty, with increased trade barriers, reduced labour mobility, and higher costs for businesses and consumers. The labour market has suffered, particularly in industries that were reliant on EU workers, such as healthcare and agriculture. Politically, the UK is facing deepening instability, with a growing divide between different factions and a loss of trust in the government. Public services, especially the National Health Service, NHS, are under immense pressure due to budget cuts, staff shortages, and an ageing population. Social inequality continues to rise, and the UK's global influence is waning. As the country faces these challenges, its future as a first-world leader is increasingly in doubt. Number 1. The United States. The United States, the world's largest economy and a global superpower, is facing its own set of profound challenges that threaten its status as a first-world nation. At the heart of these problems is the country's staggering national debt, which has exceeded $33 trillion. This massive debt burden is unsustainable and poses a significant risk to the nation's financial stability. Interest payments on the debt consume a large portion of the federal budget, limiting funds available for essential public services and investment in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. In addition to economic challenges, the US is grappling with deep political polarization, with widespread distrust in the government and growing divisions between political parties. Wider difficulty. This polarization has led to gridlock in Congress, making it difficult to pass legislation that addresses the country's most pressing issues. Socially, the US faces rising inequality, with the wealth gap widening between the rich and the poor. Crime rates in urban areas are on the rise, and the country's healthcare system remains inadequate for many citizens. The United States' position as a global leader is also being questioned, as other nations, particularly China, are rapidly gaining influence on the world stage. The US military, while still the most powerful, is facing challenges in terms of funding, recruitment, and technological innovation. With these mounting internal and external pressures, the future of the United States as a first world country is uncertain. As we look at these 10 nations, it's clear that the challenges they face are not easily overcome. While they still hold significant influence in the world, their future as global leaders is increasingly uncertain. The question remains: can these countries adapt to the changing world, or will they fall from the ranks of the first world? Only time will tell.